You ever wonder how to build a serious savings fund without making these huge, painful sacrifices? Well, today we're going to demystify a simple but incredibly powerful financial tool that's designed to do just that, the recurring deposit.
I mean, seriously, think about it. How do you take that little bit you can maybe put aside each month and turn it into a real lump sum you can actually use for something big? It feels like a huge challenge, right? Well, there's a surprisingly straightforward answer. And yep, that answer is the recurring deposit, or as you'll often hear it, an RD. It's basically a system that's designed to reward the simple habit of saving consistently. It's kind of like putting your financial goals on autopilot. Let's break down what that actually means.
Okay, so at its core, an RD is basically a promise. It's a deal you make with yourself and with the bank. You agree to put in a fixed amount of money every single month for a specific length of time. And in return for that commitment, the bank pays you interest, usually at a better rate than a regular old savings account. Your money literally grows automatically. It's that consistency that gets rewarded.
It really is as simple as 1, 2, 3. First, you deposit your amount each month. Second, you just keep doing it for the whole time you agreed on. And finally, at the very end, you get back everything you put in, plus all the interest you earned along the way. It's simple, it's effective, and it's totally predictable. Now, to really get a handle on the RD and see how your money is going to grow, we just need to get comfy with 4 key terms. Think of these as the basic building blocks of your whole savings plan. Let's run through these real quick. P is for principal. That's just the fixed amount you deposit every month. N is the total number of months you're going to be saving for. R is the annual interest rate that the bank is offering you. And finally, MV is the maturity value. That's the big one, the total cash you get back at the end. So just remember, P, N, R, and MV. All right, here we go. We're getting to the part that can sometimes look a little intimidating, the formula. But hey, don't worry, we're going to look under the hood together, and you'll see it's actually pretty simple once you know what all the pieces mean.
And there it is. This is the whole shebang. This formula calculates I, the total interest you're going to earn. And look, you can see our key terms right in there. P for principal, N for the number of months, and R for the rate. But what about those other numbers? What's with the N+1 and that 2400? Let's figure that out.
So those numbers have a very specific job. That N times N+1 thing, that's just a clever math trick to account for the fact that each of your monthly deposits earns interest for a different amount of time. And the 2400, that's just a handy shortcut. It's what you get when you combine dividing the annual rate by 12 to make it monthly and dividing by 2, which is part of the standard calculation. It just makes the math way easier. Okay, theory is great and all, but let's make this stuff real. We're going to walk through an actual example, step by step, to see exactly how this formula works out in the real world. So let's meet our saver. We'll call him Mr. Kalam. He decides he's going to deposit 200 rupees every single month. So for our formula, P is 200. Easy enough.
His bank is offering him a pretty sweet annual interest rate of 8%. So that means our R is 8. And he commits to doing this for 3 years. Now, this bit is absolutely crucial. We always have to think in months for this formula. So 3 years times 12 months in a year gives us an N of 36.
Okay, time to plug it all in. We take our numbers and pop them right into the formula. P is 200, N is 36, which means N+1 is 37, and R is 8. Then we divide that whole thing by our handy shortcut, 2400. So we run the numbers and boom! We get 888 rupees. Now that is the interest. That's the extra money Mr. Kalam earned just for letting his savings sit there in the RD account. That's the power of compounding right there. But hold on, that's just the interest. To get the grand total, the maturity value, we have to add that interest to all the money he actually put in himself. So that's 200 rupees for 36 months plus the 888 rupees he just earned.
And there it is, the final number, 8,088 rupees. So think about it. He put in 7,200 rupees over 3 years, and he ended up earning almost 900 extra rupees just from interest. That is fantastic. Now that you see how it works, let's quickly go over a few pro tips and some common mistakes people make. Think of this as your little cheat sheet to make sure you get the calculation right every single time.
Honestly, the biggest mistake people make is using years instead of months for N. Always convert to months. Another classic slip-up is forgetting to multiply N by N+1. And here's a good tip.
Try to simplify the fractions in your calculation early on. It just helps avoid working with massive numbers. So to wrap it all up nice and neat, just remember these 3 steps. First, figure out your total deposits. That's just P times N. Second, find the interest using our main formula. And finally, you just add them together to get the maturity value. This table right here is a perfect little summary of everything. And just like that, you've basically mastered the recurring deposit. Seriously. You know the key terms, you understand the formula, and you've seen it in action. So now the only real question left is, what small, consistent amount could you start saving today to build for your own future? Thanks for joining me.